Hi everyone, today I am going to try the new Strathmore watercolor travel journal. I think it's been out for a few months already, and it was hard to find it at first, and I finally found it and I wanted to give it a shot. So it comes as this very thin journal here, and it's soft cover, and it has this rubber band here to keep it together. It's actually a professional grade, cold press, and it has 100% cotton paper in it. It says it provides a resilient surface for scrubbing, scraping, and other rough techniques. So it's 140 pounds, and it says, I didn't know that, it says made in the USA with materials from the UK. So I'm not sure if it's the rubber band, if it's the ink to print it, if it's the actual paper. I'm not sure. So I've never really been very fond of Strathmore watercolor paper. I like some of their other papers, but I recently bought a pack of the Strathmore 500 watercolor, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm hoping it's better than what I've tried before because it's 100% cotton, and I usually would rather use 100% cotton paper when I do watercolors. So this one here has 10 sheets, which ends up being 20 pages if you're going to paint on both sides. And you can certainly do that because it's thick enough. It's 140 pounds, and it feels very sturdy. So you can see the grain. I don't know if you can actually on the video, but it does have a grain. It definitely is cold press paper. And on the other side is slightly finer. So there is two sides of the paper for sure. And so I don't know what the paintings will look like on both sides, but that also implies that if you draw, like here is the first page of the journal. So when you turn it, you have the back side of one page and the front side of the other page. And you can see it very well with the grain here of the paper. So I don't know if you want to do like a double page painting, if it's going to be tough because you have two different textures. But it's very common for watercolor journals to be that way. So, because as you can tell, the 10 pages, there's only one signature for those 10 pages here. So you have basically 10 pages folded in half and you get your journal. It's very simple, but usually pretty effective. So I can show you the difference between this paper and the ready cut watercolor paper. That's the 500 series. And that's the premium 140 pounds, 100 cotton paper, 100%, sorry, cotton paper. So this is what it looks like. And compared to the paper in the watercolor journal, this is what we got. So you can clearly see that this one is a lot wider than this, but again, I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, the grain is exactly the same, and on the other side it's the same as well. I'm pretty sure it is, although this one seems a bit more natural and uneven than this, but I don't know, it's really hard to tell, but it really looks like it's the same paper. So all I have to do is try it and see if I like it. So a little while ago, I got those very cute chopstick holders that I wanted to buy as brush holders so that I wouldn't put any paint on my table if I use different brushes and different colors. And I decided to use these as my samples to paint in my new journal. So I'm going to do 3, and one will be done in watercolor, the other one in gouache, and the third one in casein. So I must say I was happily surprised with the watercolor journal. I think the quality is pretty good. At first, I was a little reluctant. It felt like it was peeling a bit, but really it didn't. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I was able to add quite a few layers and lots of details. So I think I like this paper. I don't know if I will like it for bigger, more detailed paintings, but I'll have to try. This was just little sample paintings just to do the first page. So like I said, I was able to add quite a few layers, and the paper held well. The only thing is it was not as easy to lift paint. So I was trying to leave some highlights on the paper, and because this painting is really small, I had a hard time. The paint spread a bit. So I tried to lift the paint, and it didn't work very well. So I'm not sure if it's because of the color that I was using or if it's because of the paper. Later on, I used a scrubber brush, and it helped a little bit, but not very much. I don't think colors will lift very well on this paper. But that's okay. It's something I'm going to have to try to do with a bigger painting, probably next page. I did more of a wet on wet for the shadow, and it worked really well. I think the paint spread really nicely. So yeah, I think it's a nice journal. When I used the gouache, I thought it worked well as well. The paint spread very nicely and it did its job, and I had no problem with the casein. So I found that I enjoyed using the casein best, but it could have been because it was the third painting that I did, and so I was getting used to painting these little cats and I was more comfortable. I'm not sure, but all in all, it took all 3 media very nicely. I'm very pleased. So now I'm going to have to try that Strathmore 500 series paper that I have, and hopefully it'll change my mind about Strathmore watercolor papers, which I really don't like. And you know, as I always say, when it's 100% cotton paper, it really makes the difference. So kudos to Strathmore, who decided to come up with this new journal, because there are not very many journals with cotton watercolor paper, and I think it's great that they jumped on it and decided to take advantage of the fact that it's really hard to find. Thank you all for stopping by. I hope you found this video interesting and that you like my little cats. Have you guys tried this watercolor journal before? If so, let me know how you like it. And if you haven't, what's your favorite? My second favorite is the Hanamule Aquarelle watercolor journal. I think it's really nice. And I also like the Pentalic watercolor journal. All right, have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.